Okay, what we're gonna do is understand how to adjust a manual grinder today. Now this is not gonna be a short video because adjusting a grinder, it might take a bit of time. There is few things that you need to do and check before you start to adjust your grinder. First thing first, you have to make sure that the chamber is empty, and you have to make sure that we're gonna use fresh coffee. So if you have old coffee and you don't know how long it's been sitting there, please use a fresh bag. Usually the best time to adjust the grinder is the morning, and you also should do it when it's not busy because it will take a bit of time to adjust it. And usually when you're busy, if you don't know what you're doing, you might actually get confused and do the wrong thing. So first thing first, what usually we do is before adjusting the grinder, you have to check that it's not a grinder problem, but is some other issue. So first thing first, you have to make sure that the quantity of coffee that you put inside the basket is the correct one. You have to make sure that the group handle was hot. Don't make a coffee with the group handle cold. In case you don't know what a group handle is, that's the group handle, okay? So hot group handle, right amount of coffee, right temping, and then make a shot. So for Victoria Coffee, we recommend 21 grams of coffee in the basket, and the extraction need to be 25 to 30 ml in 25 to 30 seconds. Now, if you've done this and the extraction is coming up too fast or too slow, then we might need to go and adjust the grinder. Before adjusting the grinder, just in case, always mark, okay, where this is called the wheel of adjustment, always mark where there is a sign. So in this grinder here example, there is an arrow here, okay? In some other grinder, there might be a different other type of marking. So you wanna mark with the pen, okay? Now, standard mazzer grinder, when you're going, okay, towards your left, so if you're pushing this towards your left, okay, you're making the coffee coarser, okay? So you're making the coffee come out much faster. If you turn it towards your right, facing this way, so going this way, you're actually making the coffee finer. Now, the wheel of adjustment here have few lines. Usually, okay, one line from the other is approximately, depending from grinder to grinder, machine to machine, but approximately 5 to 3 seconds of extraction. So it doesn't have to be a really big adjustment, but it needs to be a very minimal of adjustment. So if your coffee is going, let's say 20 second extraction, so the amount of coffee that you put in is 21 grams, but the extraction that you're getting is only 20 seconds, that doesn't mean your coffee is going too fast, okay? We have to make it slightly, going slightly slow, so finer. So what we want to do is simply move one line, okay, towards the finest part. So I know you can't really see too much, but so pretty much one line. So like this example, okay? Then after you adjust them, you have to ground some coffee here, okay? And then you wanna ground about 10 seconds. The coffee that come out, you wanna throw it away, because between the blade and the exit point, there is a small pipe where there is always a little bit of a pre-ground coffee, okay? So the coffee go out, and then you're making 2 shots. So after you throw away this one, you're making 1 shot, and then you're making another shot. And then you have a look at the way the coffee they come out. Usually, if the coffee come up only by 1 or 2 seconds, I would probably recommend it to just let it the way it is, because what happens is that the more coffee you ground, the blade are getting warmer, and the coffee start to come up slightly slower, okay? Now, if your coffee is coming too slow, okay, then you have to make the opposite. So you have to make the coffee coarser. So let's say the coffee is coming up in 35 to 40 seconds, and the quantity of coffee is still correct. You're going to the coarsest part. So we're going towards this way, okay? So like this, okay? Again, one line at a time. So once again, ground some coffee, about 5 to 6 seconds, remove it, and then try to make 2 shots. So that's pretty much the way you're adjusting a grinder to make a finer coarser. Now, if you're using a manual grinder, okay, you can also adjust the amount of coffee that come out, okay? So by pulling this all the time, you're going free dosage. But you can actually adjust in, okay, the quantity of coffee. So by pushing down and moving this bolt here, okay, so by pushing down and moving the bolt, so moving it like this, okay, the coffee, the chamber inside here, it go higher. By moving it towards like this, anti-clockwise, they are going lower. Okay, so when you pull in, more or less coffee is coming out. If you're using an electronic grinder, the process of adjusting the grinder is the same. The only thing you have to do is when you're making the coffee finer, you might need to increase the dosage. When you're making the coffee coarser, you might need to decrease the dosage. So once again, before adjusting the grinder, okay, mark it. So if you do a mistake, you always can start where the original point and try again. And then take your time and then see how you go.